Welcome back to our YouTube channel, guys. My name is Adil and today's video is another behind the sound episode on the Jaguar F-Type, and we have something very special in store for you today. We're not only going to be showing you more about what goes on behind the scenes on a custom sound system, but we're going to have a deep dive into every single detail involved in doing the system as well. So hopefully you guys at home enjoy. Remember, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, let's get started. But before we get on to today's video, make sure you guys at home have subscribed to our YouTube channel, because we've got a massive competition live on our channel at the moment. We're giving away a brand new PlayStation 5 as well as an Audison Prima amplifier. All the details are in the description below. However, let's get on with today's video. First things first, soundproofing. Such an important part of getting a system sounding absolutely amazing. And this is where a lot of the detail comes into. So what is soundproofing if you haven't heard of it before? Soundproofing is an acoustic layer. So on this occasion, we're using something called a Skins 3mm product. Basically, what this product does is a couple of key things. Reduces rattles and resonations that you're getting from the factory panels. Also, it's actually building a far better acoustic environment for not only a stock sound system, but also the new sound system that we're putting in, as well as reducing a lot of the road noise that you get, especially with the vehicle being a convertible. But it's how we actually install this and how it actually looks cosmetically and what the purpose of it is doing. So this is actually the door card completely stripped out. So the door card gets removed, factory components get removed, as well as a little layer here also gets removed. So we have full access now to the back panel here. Behind here, what we're actually done is laid in the acoustic soundproofing, building a far better structure of the door. So less basically resonance can happen inside this door, and it stops all those horrible rattles that nobody really wants. Another thing that we also do whenever we're doing soundproofing, you'll see that actually we've left holes around factory screw holes and bolts to actually allow for factory panel work to go back in. Just like this module here. We've not soundproofed over it, we've not soundproofed blocking the factory screw position here as well, which is very important. Which means that if anyone needs to go into that door at a later stage, anyone needs to service that part individually as that module, that can easily be looked at, changed and swapped over without having to remove any of our equipment. On these Jaguar products, what you actually find is the acoustic baffle that sits behind here is very limited. You've got quite a lot of space here, but you also do have the window regulator here as well. What we're actually doing is putting in the component, which is the Audison Thesis sax. This is actually the pod that's going into the vehicle. So this has got the actual product in itself, but we've also 3D printed completely in-house a new baffle, which is really nice and strong, that's actually going to be sitting into a stock location, utilizing factory screw positions as well. But one really nice thing as well that we've considered on this install is something called a Skins water guard. What this product is, not only does it protect the back of the speaker itself, thinking about longevity of these products, but also what it does is it kind of keeps the sound waves through into the vehicle from the forward motion of the actual cone, sending sound waves into the vehicle, building a far nicer audio environment inside the vehicle. So in the previous clip, you actually saw this panel removed and the soundproofing being applied behind there. That's obviously all been done on this side as well. However, now I want to talk to you, obviously you can see a little bit more detail about how the component actually looks installed. So this is the passenger side that's been done first. So these have gone into factory bolt positions. Again, our 3D printed ring, Skins water guard actually installed here as well, which looks really smart. Plus the Audison Thesis sax component, an incredible speaker. If you want to look up the stats on this, link for this product is in the description below, well worth checking it out. But you would have seen it featured on plenty of other videos. But one thing I want to talk to you about is something quite small, but it's a very important part of doing a system. Obviously, you've seen the neatness in terms of the soundproofing. You've seen the level of detail. We've even got Cambridge Car Audio written into the 3D printed ring, which is pretty cool. The other thing I want to talk to you about is these little connectors. It's something called an XT60 connector. Part of the actual 3D printed design, we've allowed for a cable exit route for that, so it comes in neatly, but also it stops any vibrations or rattles. A lot of time when we're running cables, or if anyone's running cables from the back of a speaker, the speaker's moving air backwards and forwards. So obviously any component or any cable behind there has the potential to rattle. So we've actually made it all really nice and tight, secure. And this is done in kind of conjunction with the cable that we're using. So this, we're using a connections grade oxygen-free cable, because that is the quality of the component here itself needs a decent cable to send power and signals to it. but then that goes into a little connector. So to remove this whole door completely, if you wanted to remove the whole door, you actually have to remove the factory component or this new component. So easily accessible, easy to do. Plus a little connector which you can't get wrong, that you can remove the whole component and access behind there with ease. But one thing I want to talk to you now about is this little pod here. This houses the factory Meridian upgraded sound system tweeter, which is very, very small, probably a ferrite magnet, probably not the best quality, but that used to sit up here. This used to sit on top of the door card and it used to bolt down to the door. We're building something very, very special here, guys. We're gonna actually be housing something called an Thesis tweeter, which is gonna sit in a similar location. But let's head over. Carly's about to take over our YouTube channel and explain a little bit more detail about how we're gonna fit an Thesis tweeter into a panel sitting up here.
I'm Carl, the workshop team leader here at Cambridge Car Audio, and I'm the lead engineer on this project. So what we've got here is some housings for our Thesis tweeters. Now they look a little bit different to what you used to see them, as this customer didn't want them on the A-pillars. He wanted us to put them in the factory tweeter housing location, which is just on top of the door card, just by the window. So with this project, we've had to change our design process to an extent. Instead of being in a large A-pillar, which we could just attach our speaker pods to and then fiberglass to make it all match and look smooth, we now have to create our own complete speaker pods to sort of look as much like this as possible from the factory. So what we've done is we've made a slightly elongated version, so the back profile still stays exactly the same, and the front profile here still stays the same curvature, but it allows us to house our larger tweeter inside here. At the moment, I've made up all the framework, I have put a skin over the top, and I'm now at the point of using body filler to blend this shape into these two shapes here, and eventually it will be a nice smooth transition to follow the factory lines, and when you're on the outside of the vehicle, you will just see that it's been spaced forwards by about 2 inches, so it shouldn't look out of the ordinary on the vehicle. Once we've finished with the process of smoothing everything to make it all blended, we're going to need to trim. Now, normally we would trim the A-pillars in a Milano fabric, which gives it a suede effect, but this time around we have to try and replicate this plastic effect. So what we'll end up doing is painting the whole tweeter housing itself in a nice satin black paint to look as close to this factory finish as possible.
Hopefully you guys at home have enjoyed today's video. You've seen exactly where we're up to on the Jaguar F-Type project. It's coming along really, really nicely, and I can't wait to show you guys more of the journey with us that we're doing on the system. It's going to sound absolutely exceptional at the very end, but we've got a lot of work to go. In future videos, you guys can be expecting to see more about fabrication of those custom Thesis pod that you saw in today's video, but also more about those custom sub boxes and how we're going to fit those new subs into a vehicle with such a small tight cabin behind those seats, as well as a lot more detail in terms of how we actually do systems that we do and put on the road. Some absolutely fantastic sounding cars. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have done, press that like button, share this video with friends and family, and also if you haven't checked out the previous video, make sure you do that as well. Link for that is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.